There's so much information about a healthy diet, and we constantly hear doctors and mainstream health advice recommending everybody to eat healthy or to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, to eat a lot of antioxidants, etc. But there's so much confusion on what foods are actually healthy for us and what actually is defined as a healthy diet. Most people just straight up follow a religion of sorts, dogmatic in nature, such as veganism, paleo diet, vegetarianism, if it fits your macros, something crazy like that. There's nothing wrong with veganism, nothing wrong with vegetarianism, and nothing wrong with being on a paleo diet or a Mediterranean diet or whatever, as long as it is well constructed and strategically followed. A healthy diet is not the same as a diet for weight loss, and diet simply means style of eating. Diet does not mean restricting food groups or restricting calories. It's simply a style of eating. But a lot of diets restrict calories. A lot of diets restrict food groups. For example, veganism simply removes all animal products and byproducts from the diet. Paleo usually completely removes grains. And so these are examples of diets, but not all diets restrict food groups and not all diets restrict calories. Also, calorie restriction is not a requirement for weight loss. Obviously, if you starve yourself or if you don't eat enough food for the day, you're going to more than likely lose weight. So, I mean, I don't know of anyone who has gone, a month eating very little and not lost weight. I mean, that's obvious, right? I mean, look at that girl, Eugenia Cooney. But do you really think that that's healthy? I don't think so. I believe that that puts the body under stress in some way, which sometimes that can be a great thing, because a little bit of stress can cause positive adaptations to the body. But for a lot of people, they're overly stressed as it is. People work stressful jobs, they have relationships, some people have children to take care of, they have school, they don't sleep enough, and then they try to pile exercise and a restrictive diet on top of that. And you wonder why you hate your life. I do not believe that calorie restriction is a good thing it's not healthy for somebody who's already under a lot of stress. You need to nourish your body in order to deal with stress. So calorie restriction, in my opinion, is ridiculous for health. And it's not the only way to lose weight, okay? If you are eating processed foods, fast foods, if you're eating sugar, processed sugar, right? Isolated sugar. When I say sugar, I don't mean fruit, or I don't mean carbs. I'm talking sugar, okay? Not all carbs are sugar, okay? They turn to blood glucose, which some people call blood sugar, but carbs are not sugar, okay? I'm talking sugar, but people eat sugar. They eat flour and white flour. They eat an overabundance of potato chips or carbs in general. Carbs are not bad, but people eat an overabundance of carbs and they don't have any outlet for letting the energy out. Then they wonder why they're overweight. They think that they're eating too much. No. You're eating too much of the wrong foods, okay? Most of the junk food, just in general, frozen food, fast food, packaged foods, all right? These are things you should stay away from. The average person is fat not because they're eating too much calories, but because they're eating too much junk. And for most people, if you just remove the junk and you focus on nutrient-dense foods that satiate you and make you feel satisfied, you will lose weight. Okay? I mean, if you really feel like you can't help yourself, right, and you just need those Pop-Tarts and whatnot, then go ahead and restrict calories and eat junk, but you're going to feel like fucking crap. These kinds of things frustrate me because it's like common sense. but there seems to be a war on logic. These people promoting if it fits your macros, people promoting calorie restriction and saying, oh, I can eat McDonald's and still be healthy, or I can eat McDonald's and still lose weight. It makes no sense. If you remove a food out of your diet for 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you'll stop craving it physically, because you physically crave food, whether you want to admit that or not. Then there's emotional attachments. After the physical craving is gone, you've got to allow yourself to let go. But it takes about 2 weeks to not crave a food anymore. People who say, oh, if I eat this cupcake, I'm going to go insane. Or if I don't have a cheat day, I'm going to go insane. Like, you are insane. Not because of food, just because of your approach. Alright? If you can't live without junk food, you've got a serious addiction. I'm sure there's plenty of recovering meth addicts that think, oh, like, if I don't have my daily meth, I'll go insane. I mean, obviously, because you're addicted to it. Like, duh. Okay? Food is supposed to serve us, but most people are serving food. Most people are slaves to the food that they're ingesting. So a healthy diet is understanding that food is fuel, not pleasure. Okay? And when you change your mindset and you realize food is fuel, and everything you eat is energy, everything you eat builds cells. Your cells can only be built on the food you eat every day. Whatever you eat becomes your body. Think about this. The skin is made out of keratin, or what have you, collagen, protein. Okay? Hair is made out of protein, and vitamins and minerals, enzymes, etc. They all contribute to building this body, right? Your body is made out of protein, minerals, water. Think about this, and you're eating all this, and it's turning into you. Alright? What happens if you take a piece of bread and leave it outside at the park? Birds come and eat it, right? What happens if the bird dies in the middle of a forest? A coyote comes and eats it, alright? So this is a cycle of life, and if you're eating junk, you become junk. So from this basic principle, health can flourish. Beyond that, you need to be aiming for nutrient density. So that means in every meal, your main priority should just be eating a variety of fruits and vegetables, okay? The base of your meal should be vegetables or fruits and vegetables, okay? As long as the largest portion of your plate is vegetables, you should be okay. And when I say vegetables, I'm talking leafy greens, I'm talking bell peppers, I'm talking peppers, I'm talking broccoli, I'm talking even roots such as carrots. Alright, and the more color something has, the more nutrition it probably has. The only exception would be garlic, white onions, and cauliflower. Although white potatoes tends to have a lot of minerals in it, alright? Lots of people need lots of minerals. Most people are deficient in magnesium, potassium, and other minerals. And this is a cause of a lot of disease. So at a baseline, what you need to understand is the majority of chronic illness is not the result of something like, it's not the result of red meat. It's not the result of even like carbohydrates or too much fruit. The majority of disease is caused by too much junk, which causes oxidative stress in the body, and not enough nutrients and antioxidants. Alright? Nutrient deficiencies causes dis-ease by definition. Alright? If you are deficient in magnesium, you'll have restless leg syndrome, you'll have anxiety, you'll have insomnia, you'll have stiff muscles. You're obviously not feeling ease, you're at a dis-ease. All because you're lacking magnesium. But what happens when you consume enough magnesium? All of a sudden insomnia, anxiety, and these symptoms go away altogether, or they lessen in severity, and you're at more ease than you were when you were deficient. So, by definition, a nutrient deficiency does cause disease. The other thing is oxidative stress. When you eat processed sugar or just isolated sugar in general, organic sugar, any excess of sugar, sugar, all right, like sweet sugar, right? Too much agave nectar or even honey. If you drink a cup of honey, you're probably going to experience a strange, uneasy feeling of energy. That's too much blood sugar in your blood, too much blood sugar at once. And you're going to feel crazy unless you burn off all that sugar by exercising, or who knows, probably going to piss it all out. A lot of things that can happen, but you're going to feel messed up. Most people consume a ton of sugar and have extreme levels of blood sugar at a time because they drink lots of sodas. They consume a lot of added sugar in these processed products. Baby formulas, yogurts, all sorts of crazy things. So of course you're going to feel messed up. Of course people are going to experience oxidative stress. That's what the sugar does, oxidative stress. Sugar actually causes inflammation of it causes damage to the arteries. The body produces inflammation to heal that inflammation, or to heal that damage. Sorry, inflammation is the body's attempt to heal damage, and you need antioxidants to heal that oxidative stress. So when you consume damaging foods, you create a need for antioxidants. You see. So a healthy diet would be minimizing damage and maximizing antioxidants that are needed to repair that damage. The more damaging foods you eat, processed foods, sugar, stress, etc., the more damage, the more of a need for antioxidants. And when you get these extreme states of disease, such as cancer, heart disease, and some autoimmune conditions, what that really is too much damage and a deficiency in immunity, a deficiency in the body's repair mechanisms. So eating a lot of antioxidants and nutrients and minimizing damaging foods, that's health. All right, you can achieve this with with most diets. Now, caveats, obviously. So just because you can eat red meat your whole life and you might not develop disease. You can be a lot healthier than the average person if you eliminate the main causes: hydrogenated oils and trans fats, processed sugars. There's a lot of other things as well. Keep your saturated fats to a reasonable amount. Okay, polyunsaturated omega-6 fats you should reduce. Omega-3 you should increase. If you do these things, you don't necessarily have to cut out meat entirely or cut out animal products to be healthy. Although there have been studies that have shown oxidative stress being caused by saturated fat, heme iron, and other things found in different animal products. That doesn't mean you have to eliminate them entirely, and that doesn't mean that it's a conclusive fact. There's evidence that shows that there is a possibility of oxidative stress and possible cardiovascular stress being caused by, at the very least, excessive amounts of red meat or saturated fats. That's not conclusive, but for people who are extremely concerned and they want to do everything they can, if you really feel like it, you can restrict your animal products. You know what I mean? You can eliminate red meat, eliminate eggs and dairy. You could become a pescatarian. I think that's a reasonable trade-off. But I believe anything beyond that, and quality over quantity, eating organic fruits and vegetables, or locally raised is the best, but you don't have to do these things. Eating higher quality meats if you choose to eat meat, such as wild-caught fish from oceans that are not polluted. eating, oh, and also the way you cook foods as well. It's another thing. If you overcook meat, especially if it's charred, if it's well done, not only is the nutrient density probably going to be lower because a lot of nutrients are damaged during cooking. It might be harder to digest because the more you cook the meat, the harder it is for your body to digest it. That's why some people get meat sweats. And also, studies have shown that the cancer-causing chemicals in red meat, a lot of it is due to overcooking the meat, okay? Not all of it, but the majority of it. So there's a lot more to it than just saying yes or no to red meat, all right? For some people, red meat can actually be very beneficial. Now, I know this might be hard for some people to understand because it's a very sensitive subject, but what I believe is that if you eat a certain way and you feel energetic and your body and brain is functioning better than it ever has, you're doing something right. If you eat something and you feel energetic and you feel energy from it and you feel good and you feel great, that probably is a good sign because our bodies has developed mechanisms to show us what's good and what is not. However, if you feel gassy, if you have stomach aches, that's a big no-no. Now, for me personally, I used to have stomach aches all the time when I used to eat junk food. I noticed that I never, ever have stomach aches, and I don't get gas as much. Sometimes I will, depending on how much, what types of vegetables and things I eat, but I never have stomach aches as long as I eat whole foods. To me, that tells me that the reason I ever had stomach aches is because I ate foods that I wasn't supposed to eat, essentially. Self-awareness. A lot of people lack it. They think that stomach aches are normal, but they're not. Okay, that's a sign that you're not eating something properly. So this is just the basic principles for nutrition. As long as you follow these things, you'll be okay. There's a lot of different things you can do to lose weight, but as long as you're eating healthy and you're exercising vigorously at least 3 times a week and exercising briskly for short periods of time every single day, you're going to lose weight, okay? So a healthy diet is maximizing nutrition, minimizing damage, okay? It's supposed to make you feel energetic, and you should not feel pain from the food you eat, okay? So that's a basic, outline. For specific health conditions that need to be reversed, there are specialized protocols that must be followed, in addition to herbal medicine and other interventions. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. I have books on veganism. I have books on paleo. I have a Dr. Atkins book. I have holistic health books. I have raw vegan books. I read everything. I've tried every single diet, and I've realized that all of them can work. But one thing I noticed is I've tried certain diets that people claim are supposed to be the end-all be-all of health, and they made me feel horrible. And I tried them, and I did them to the T, and I tried them for a long period of time. Nothing changed. You could say it's a healing response, right? But after 3 years and you're almost dead, I mean, I think that should wake you up, right? So if you have any questions, post them down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will talk to you soon.